Welcome to Better Said Than Written, the podcast that shares inspirational excerpts from books, essays, poems, and quotes that, when read aloud, just sound better said than written. I'm your host, Tamika Cody. In this episode, I'm opening up the window to one of the hardest things I ever had to do in life. And I bet some of you listening also had or have a tough time with letting go. I want to start with a line from the poet Rumi. He wrote, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray." The question I have for you is, how do we let ourselves be pulled forward when we're weighed down by pain, loss, or trauma? When people advise to let it go, it sounds pretty simple, but it's not. It could be a loss of a job, the end of a relationship, the end of a friendship, a situationship, or a dream that feels out of touch. Letting go can feel like, giving up. Like you're losing part of yourself. But what if letting go isn't about losing? What if it's about making space? Now, for those of you who live in a region of the country where you experience all four seasons, think about the tree in autumn. Its leaves fall away, but the tree, it doesn't die because it's preparing itself for winter and it's waiting for spring to arrive. Letting go is like that tree or a renewal process. Let me share a personal story with you. About 20 years ago, I decided to leave a toxic marriage. We had 2 children together. We were married for about 10 years, and I had just graduated from journalism school at the age of 29. During those years, I built my life around my husband. I won't get into the weeds on this, so I'll sum the story up to this. I had enough. Now, even though I was the one who wanted out, it was so hard for me to let go because I didn't want to become a statistic. I didn't want to be a single parent. I didn't want to be labeled as a divorced, educated Black woman raising 2 children on her own. But for the sake of my children and my safety, I had to let that relationship go. I tried to hold on. But when I learned my husband was having an affair with a family friend and it had been going on for years, I had to cut the cord and let him and that entire situation go. Now, during that time, I stumbled across Rumi's words. Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. I realized that I was spending way too much time trying to hold on to the past, so much time that I lost touch with achieving my goals. Now, in order for me to achieve my goals, I had to regain my independence and figure out a way to survive on my own without being solely dependent on another human being. So I packed my bags and I moved back home to New York City. The kids stayed with him until I was able to financially stand on my feet. But in 2020, I learned that that was not the best decision. I should have taken the kids with me. But that's a story for another time. So after I settled into my first full-time journalism job, my children were able to move in with me. It was tough, but I managed. Plus, I had a tribe of friends and a partner who helped me in raising my kids. Now, if I didn't let go of that marriage, I wouldn't have been able to regain my independence, build my career as a journalist, travel, take up art, sing in a band, and encourage my children to freely speak their minds without fear and to pursue whatever it is that they want to do in life. Letting go, it wasn't about forgetting the marriage. It was about creating a peaceful life for me, for my kids, and anyone I allowed into my circle. Maybe you're in a place like I was. Maybe you've lost something or someone you thought you couldn't live without. And it's okay to grieve and to feel the weight of that loss, but holding on to it is not healthy and it won't help you move forward. So what are you holding on to? Is holding on to that thing helping you, or is it keeping you stuck? Letting go doesn't mean you're erasing that part of your life. It just means you no longer need to carry it. What would it feel like if you set it down just for a moment? To answer this, you might want to consider journaling that vision, or maybe talking to a trusted friend, or simply saying, "This no longer serves me." Here's another letting go moment I like to share with you. When I had to give up my dream job, oh my God, it felt like my credibility had been chopped up and thrown out in yesterday's trash. I kept saying, "How did this happen? I'm a complete, utter failure. After several weeks, or really months, of moping around my apartment and secluding myself from my friends and family, I made the decision to not let that job define me. It was time to clear the way to see what's next. I rediscovered my passion for storytelling in new ways, and that led me to where I am today, talking to you on this podcast. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It just means you start trusting there's something else waiting for you, even if you can't see it yet. Do me a favor. Take a piece of paper and write down what you're holding on to, and be honest with yourself. Then, at the bottom of the page, write the following: I release this. I am making space for what's next. Now, you're going to hold on to that piece of paper as a reminder. And when you fully let go of what you're holding on to, it might take a couple of days, months, or even years. What you're going to do next is you're going to tear up that piece of paper and throw it away. Or you could burn it. Now, how will you know that you're ready to do this? When you read what's holding you back and it no longer affects you. That's when you know you could rip it up in little tiny shreds of paper and throw it out or burn it. Now, I'm going to be honest. I've done this several times in my life, and I have a few pages in my journal that's just about ready to be ripped out, torn into itsy bitsy tiny pieces, and burned. Rumi reminds us to be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. Maybe you don't feel the tug right now, or maybe the pull is faint, but trust me, it's there. When you are ready, you will notice it. Okay, until next time, I'm Tamika Cody, reminding you, like a tree preparing for winter, you have everything you need to bloom again. Because letting go, it's not about forgetting. It's about freeing yourself to move forward to what's next.